Well, hello. Welcome back to Soul Search Sunday with Johnny Tiger on February 21st, 2021. Now that's some interesting number on paper. 02212021. I'm sure there's some conspiracy theorists out there that were thinking, wow, it's such an interesting looking number. There must be something big that's going to happen today. Maybe it's going to be the end of the world by midnight or something like that. You just never know. I think one of these days, no, one of these days, these conspiracy people and these people who believe in the end of the world and it's going to come on a special day, one of these days they might even surprise themselves by getting lucky and actually guess they're right. Yeah, wouldn't that be ironic? So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I have done a lot of favors for people in my lifetime, and I definitely have people do a lot of favor for me in my lifetime. I would say probably people have done more for me than I have done for people, but I did my best. But one thing that I think is important for us to keep in mind today, or keep in mind, period, is that sometimes when we are doing a favor for someone, when we think we're doing a favor for someone, it might not always have the intended result or expected results in the end. Sometimes what we think as we're doing a good thing can often turn out, well, to be a little bit anticlimactic and even make us feel a little bit betrayed or used or sorry for ourselves. Why did I work so hard to do this for him or for her when in the end they don't even appreciate it? I'm pretty sure we all have had instances in our life where we have come across that feeling. Why did I bother? Wow, I feel so unappreciated. Why, why do I even uh, bother with them? I never want to do anything for them ever again because they don't appreciate it. While I have definitely had a lot of experience with that feeling, that particular sentiment, I want to hopefully introduce you to a slightly different angle, and maybe the next time this happens to you, maybe the next time you do someone a big favor and then it doesn't work out the way you wanted to, you won't feel so hurt. Maybe you will even be able to understand from the other person's point of view, and as regrettable as the incident may be, you will be able to move on and you won't go through the I never want to see you again, I never want to do anything for you again phase. Because a lot of time, in the end, it has very little to do with uh, appreciation, but more to do with other factors that you were not aware of. And let's face it, none of us, even those of us who are closest to each other, is ever privy to the other person's agenda 100% of the way. We may think we are. We may be told that we are. We may want to believe that we know everything. We know our partner, our loved one, inside and inside out and upside down. But let's face it, every human being has a mind of their own. And depending on how they feel today, what they're dealing with today, their perspective, their ideas, their desires are fluid and can be very hard for the other person to find out or to understand. On top of that, it depending on the personality of the person we are talking about. Because some people, myself, for example, is extremely hard for people to read what I'm going through or what my plans may be, because I am a very introverted or very secretive person when it comes to my desires, my plans, my likes and my dislikes. Uh, as my mom always tell people, you need to understand Johnny's response when you ask him things, because otherwise you're going to get the wrong idea all the time. Uh, take if you ask me, do you like the food? Uh, there's usually only two standard that I'm going to give you. I'm going to say, yeah, it's okay. Now, when I say yeah, it's okay, that ranges from I don't really like that to yeah, it's pretty good. That's how wide that range is. So basically, it's an answer that doesn't really mean anything. It means I'm trying to be polite, one way or another. Or I will tell you, wow, this was really, really good. If I say that, then that means it's really, really, really good. Like it has to be super amazing, super duper amazing for me to give you that response. Otherwise, for the most part, you're going to get, yeah, it's okay. It's good. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Something like that. Uh, you almost never will hear me say, "Oh, this is awful," or "I don't like it," or blah blah blah. Uh, if you hear me say that, then it has to be something really, really, really bad, or you just happen to have me on a really bad day where my inner self is not quite in control of my mouth and the real feeling come out. That is really rare. So I'm rambling on a little bit, but what I mean to say is it's just so hard for us to really 100% understand each other, even when we think we know each other really, really well. So, taking that into consideration, when we go out of our way to do a favor for someone, quite often it is like a Russian roulette, and the chance of you getting it right, the chance of it just be the right thing for them, the chance of it's exactly what they want is quite small actually. Even when it's something they tell you that it's something they want, when they finally get it, it may be totally different. I'm sure you guys have had this experience before. You say, wow, I really feel like fried chicken. I can totally kill for some fried chicken. It's 3 in the morning and I can't go to sleep because I'm thinking about nothing but fried chicken. And maybe it's not fried chicken, but just put it in there, whatever is the word that the food or whatever is in your mind. Okay, you're obsessed, and if someone asks you, you say, I definitely want fried chicken. And then, let's say you get up in the morning and then you say, wow, yesterday I really wanted fried chicken. Let's order some fried chicken. And then you get that fried chicken in front of you. You have one piece and then you suddenly go, uh, it's not that good. I guess I wasn't really wanting fried chicken that badly after all. And then you are sitting there looking at this bucket of KFC and you're thinking, uh, what am I going to do with this now? Why did I do this to myself? So even we ourselves get it wrong sometimes. We think we want something, and when we finally get it, we realize, I really didn't want it that badly. A couple of Music Monday ago, I talked about my friend buying his son a piano and then going majorly in debt buying that piano and then get all sad, depressed, offended, and all kind of negative feeling when the son refused to come and play that piano. Now, from my friend's point of view, I put myself out there. I am trying to show you I want to be a good dad. I went in debt, $20,000 in debt, getting you this piano, which you always told me is going to be your dream thing, your holy grail. And you say you wanted a piano, so I bought it. And now you wouldn't even come to my house to play it. You don't even appreciate it. Well, then from here on, I'm never going to buy you anything ever again because you don't appreciate me. While it is understandable that my friend would feel that way, now if we turn the situation around from, and this is so easy when it's not us, when we can look in from the side, if we turn the situation around and really look at it from the son's point of view, okay, that's cool, Dad, you bought me a piano, but you know what? You put it in at your place because my apartment's too small. I can't get a piano to my place. So you put it at your place, that which means whenever I feel like playing the piano, I have to pick up the phone. Dad, can I come over and play the piano? And this might be 3 in the morning. This might be 2 in the afternoon. This might be 10 in the evening. So for me to be able to get to that piano, you have to be home, or you have to give me a copy of the key. But I can't just budge in because I still have to call and see if you and your girlfriend is up to something. I don't want to walk into you guys naked or anything, or maybe you guys are watching TV. You guys don't want to hear me play the piano. So for me to get to that piano, it's just so much work. And when I already have a perfectly functional piano keyboard folded up in my closet, that all I have to do is get out of the closet and play, or go and bring it to a party and play it at a party. Why would I go to your place to play that piano unless it's a special occasion? It just, uh, time wise, energy wise, altogether not very practical. So looking at that, we can definitely see from the son's point of view, it has nothing to do with appreciation, but a lot to do with it's just not practical. A couple of days ago, I talked to my nanny, Maru, who is getting really old and kind of decrepit, kind of uh, wheelchair bound. Now, Maru and her husband, who's now passed away, have lived in the same house that was granted to them by the government for her husband's military service. They've lived in the same house for almost 60 years. That house, just like Maru, getting really decrepit, really run down. The roof needed fixing, the pipes needed fixing, everything else needed fixing. So it was breaking down like Maru. So Maru's children, who are now grown and have children of their own, got together and decided that they were going to do something really nice for mom. They decided to buy mom an apartment, a brand new apartment at a busier part of town, so she can be closer to them and she can live in a place that has a beautiful view. It's on the 14th floor, and it's new and everything's up to date. Everything's state of the art. Now, in Taiwan, something like this is very expensive. We are talking about maybe at least $1 million Canadian, so almost 800,000 US for the apartment. Probably more because it is at the center of town. From most people's point of view, and myself included, when I heard that they were going to do that, it sounded like, wow, you have such nice kids. They are going to do this for you. That's great. That they're being so nice to their mom. To everybody's shock and surprise, when I talked to Maru 2 days ago, she just moved into the new apartment last week. She is so depressed and is borderlining on suicidal. She said, I lived in that old house for my whole life, for 50 odd years. I know every inch of that house. I have so much memory in every inch of that house. I had my children there. I built my career there. I had I had my grandchildren growing up there. Me and my husband, we had a lot of memory there. And now you guys take me out of there, put me in an apartment that is only a quarter of the size of the house, and it's on the 14th floor. Me being in a wheelchair is very inconvenient. I'm sitting up here in this tiny little apartment. I can barely get around in because there's not enough room for the wheelchairs to maneuver. And all I can do is look out the window, look at the city, the people below, and all I can do is sit here and miss my old home. Why did you guys do this to me? What did I do wrong that you guys are punishing me like this? I tried to console her. I said, Mom, I called Maru, Mom. I said, Mom, it's okay. You're just not used to it. You're going to get used to it. After a bit of time, you'll get used to it. And she said, I'm 80 years old. I have 50 years of history with that old house. Yes, given enough time, I will get over it. But I don't think I'm going to live that long. So what's going to happen is I'm going to spend the rest of my days, no matter if I live another 3 months or 2 years, I'm going to spend the rest of my days being very unhappy in this overpriced little cage they put me in. Again, if her children was to hear any of this, I'm sure they would be very angry. I mean, Mom, we just trying to do this thing for you. We're just trying to be so nice to you. Buy you an apartment of your own, beautiful view, beautiful, great location, and you're not appreciating it? But from her point of view, she never asked for this. She didn't want it. Most likely, she even told them when, if they ever asked her, Mom, we were thinking about buying you a new place. Most likely, she even told them, No, don't do that. I don't want a new place. But they did it anyway. Is it a good deed? Definitely. But is it something that uh, she didn't want and she can't get used to? Probably. There's so many examples of something like this happening that every time when I hear it, witness it, I feel a bit of an ache in my heart for both parties because I can relate to both parties, how they feel. I mean, setting aside other people's stories, I still remember today when I was almost 9 years old, my father dragged us kicking and screaming from Taiwan to Canada. In his mind, he was doing something nice for us. He was giving us a better education, taking us to a better country. But I would be lying if I say that none of us hated him for doing so, because I think every one of us, me and my siblings, have hated him, or even some of us are still hating him for doing that, because yes, he was doing a good thing in his mind, but that little move ripped us out of the environment we were comfortable in. It deprived us of growing up with a proper family, with our own countrymen, and we didn't have any say in the matter. Now, some people say, well, if you're so unhappy, why don't you go back? It is not that simple. He brought us over into Canada, kept us here, forced us to study and learn the culture, the ways here. So even though some of us were very unhappy, by the time that we were old enough to be independent and we were old enough to actually try to move back there, we no longer fit in there either. So we get moved to a place which we didn't get accustomed to, and yet we have a home that we can't go back to because now we are not accustomed to the way things are there either. It's just a really awkward situation, and so I definitely can understand what it's like when someone supposedly did me a huge favor, but it was totally not what I was looking for. So keep what I talked about in mind. Maybe next time you decide that you're going to uh, do something earth shaking or world changing for somebody you really love, actually open your heart, open your mind to their perspective before you go and do it. Because maybe what you have in mind is not what they want in the end. Thank you for checking out today's Soul Search Sunday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Music Monday. For now, have a good night.